Okay, the word Aryan and Iran, always people used to say what's Aryan, they said Iran is Aryan, but never anybody came to the original and the meaning of this. Okay, both Aryan and Iran just doing a little etymology and just the simplest form of anagram, changing one letter of the alphabet. It's rain, and it's the same thing in Farsi, and it's the same thing in English. It's like this word rain, it's one of those nuclear words in the family, father, mother, brother, has stayed the same. In English, just taking the word rain and putting just I in the beginning, just this letter, it becomes Iran. Or if Iran just takes the I and put after A, it becomes rain. The same thing with Aryan, it's just putting one Aryan, putting the just A in the beginning and adding one A after, just changing I and A. So it's a very simple anagram. It's the simplest form of etymology that exists. So rain becomes Iran, and rain becomes Aryan, and Aryan is the same pronunciation basically. So this is what we have. In Farsi it's the same thing. The word for rain is baran, which B in the beginning it means with. B in Farsi means with. So which rain? These people from the very beginning, when they appeared on the scene out of nowhere and very suddenly, they were called rain people. So they came with baran, with rain, and so this day is just really nothing there. So just taking that extra explanatory letter, which is also a proposition, with rain. They came with rain. So in Farsi it's just a little bit more explained. Maybe we're not as smart as the English people. Or the Druids figured they don't need that explanation with. So this rain people, it's clears up just about everything. This is the time that they came. So they came with that rain that nearly wiped out the civilization. When this is as the rains were receding, following this catastrophic water rain that were nearly wiped out the whole every living thing. The Noah's story talks of rain for 40 days and 40 nights. So it's more specifically talks about the cause of this catastrophe that nearly wiped out the civilization all over was rain. And so as the rains were receding, that so these people who appeared on the scene, they were called rain people. They came with rain. So this is what. So the timeline is immediately set for us after, just as the Ice Age were ending and people were starting to sort of settle and building or rebuilding. Now this rain people had this word was very loaded. It's not just when people were calling these the Aryans or rain people, or for they came with rain, it also defined their mission. If you look at it's the simplest kind of symbology or symbols. In any movie that you see when at the end of or at the beginning somehow that there's a rain pouring over some body, some character, it's immediately it's cleansing. It is cleansing. It's washing that person out of its sin or evilness or bad things. Or so it's one of really simplest kind of symbols that when you see it in a movie or any scenery, immediately pick up that this is a cleansing episode. Like when somebody dies, we see a white cloud that they show that person passed away, went to peace and calmness. So this mission also came with that word. It just it was not just these people as the rains were receding, suddenly were in the high mountain. They started moving down as the rains, the water that was covering the earth started to recede more and more, and these people started moving down like everybody else, because anybody who was in the flatland, the lowland, would have been drowned during those 40 days. But more so as the symbology was that the Ice Age was ending. And so we see that the end of this Ice Age, that we are there's general agreement of around 12,000-13,000 years that when the Ice Age finally ended and people started to rebuild, and that is when that Tapegubelki gives us also corroborates physically. It's in front of us, and with the time line and its age that's been meticulously established by this German archaeologist. All these things were happening in that time. So whether it's 1,000 or 2,000 up and down, all these things were happening at that time. So this is the beginning of this rate. And another confirmation, again, it's not as definitive as and scientifically set in stone like Tapegubelki, but Plato's talk of this great civilization that disappeared 12,000 years ago by flood or water because of their greed and sin and turning into evil, becoming evil. And we see that also in the mission of the Aryan people, that rain, as we said, is the simplest symbol for cleansing of evil and of bad things, having lost their ways. this is what we get from this. Now, as we said in the beginning, so it's just recapping, or those who are listening to this thing as epilogue or prelogue of this talk, they Aryans that later on became Sumerians or Aryans became set very strict, or there were very strict standards of morality and conduct were set for them, or they set for themselves, whichever way we look at it. The short answer is they had that standard and conduct that they violently, I would say, opposed slavery. We do not see any kind of episode or example of slavery, as a state, as a means of production in society being conducted by in a society or a nation that was governed by the Aryans. This is where we got to distinguish. The Babylonians were the evil people in this equation, and the Sumerians or the Aryans were the good guys who their mission was to cleanse. And as soon as so the Babylonians were the people who established, or as far as we know, were the first race or first people that established slavery as a means of production in society. And how far back they went. We know that the Aryans, as soon as they militarily got strong at the time by Cyrus the Great, or Kurosh, they destroyed this slavery, this method of slavery in society, and so they completely destroyed that thing. And it was not just destroyed; there were not. That was not that simple. Their mission of cleansing was just not to open the slave houses and let the two most important or well-known slave population were the first one everybody knows are the Jews, that Cyrus freed them, gave them travel money. We also wanted to go to their lands. And the second one were, of course, less known, but we should make it known, were the Freemasons. And these two peoples, I would say, and they're not mutually exclusive, but both of them in their official books thank the Aryans for this act of nobility. So the acts of nobility and goodness is really the stick, and it's really I mean, it's without challenge when the enemy or the people who were the other end of the fence talk about it and think about it and call it one of the most great acts of nobility. And for Cyrus, of course, the most important book is the Holy Book of the Torah that thanks Cyrus the Aryan for freeing them and again sending them back or offering to send them to wherever they wanted to go, their homeland, or they wanted to settle in the which at that time also was ruled by the Aryans, but wherever they wanted to go there. And the second one was Freemason. The Freemason, the important thing also is gave them their tools, because the Freemason is without a tool was nothing. Their whole livelihood, their whole means of livelihood was their tools, that they were able to build those great monuments. So this is not, let's not forget that it's not just with the Freemason. Cyrus just said, okay, this is your travel money, go wherever you want to go. He as importantly gave them back their tool, or gave them the money or to make the tools. But when they opened the slave houses of the Babylonians, the tools was there because they made them work for nothing. They were slaves. Okay, we said that let's just these are all we've talked about it at length during the this presentation. Just recapping it, that the slave guards, those people who were guarding the slave houses, were the Arabs. This is the important thing. So let's not think that this enmity between the Arabs and the Jews goes back to 50 or 70 years ago, or from the time of Solomon's temple, or from the time of the destruction of the first or second temple. This thing goes back to 12,000 years ago, or at least we know from the time that they were enslaved, but from the time the time they were enslaved were 12,000 years ago, or when was that time? Is the plus minus whatever thousand that the whole thing was set in motion. But the end of it, we know that finally Cyrus destroyed this means of production. So now this is not the first thing, that when somebody is sent in or comes by themselves, suddenly appears on the scene with a mission, and the mission is cleansing of sin, of evilness, they go further than this. The things that they did, first of all, they established equality with the freed people. In other words, we know the conduct of slavery in the United States. The day that the proclamation was signed by President Lincoln, the next day the black folks were not freed. As it's taking even up to now that in the Deep South, or to eradicate in their mind, not only symbolic, and in their mind, to sort of destroy this conduct. There's this evilness, and they set the example. They said there are two Arians that are specifically mentioned in the Torah of saving the Jews. The first one everybody knows, that's Cyrus. The second one all the Jews know, but non-Jews not everybody knows, is Xerxes. Xerxes, but as we said, the first one, the first person who stopped the first Holocaust that was planned against the Jews, to kill them all within a day or two, and the chief perpetrator of this conspiracy was Xerxes' chief minister. But his wife, his queen, was a Jew, Esther, who is the most holy and most respected or most worshipped. I mean, in Judaism, like you take Holy Mary in Christianity, or Zahra, Prophet's daughter, and Ali's wife in Islam, and multiplied by 50, by 100, becomes Esther in Judaism. And actually the third most important festivity in Judaism is to thank the Iranians, the Persians, the Aryans for stopping this first planned Holocaust. So this is, in other words, they freed, not only they freed the Jews, they set an inequality, and the king, the mightiest Arian, set the example by marrying a freed slave. In other words, at that time it was established all over the land that there is complete equality with yesterday's slaves and today's freed person. So this example is, and this example was carried out to today. That all those whenever the Aryan was in charge of society, this this rule or this mentality was observed and carried out, not only as a matter of law or as a matter of written thing, but as a matter of heart, as a matter of establishing in society, that nobody ever thought of, oh, he's a Jew, I'm not going to sit next to him, or he's a Jew, he's not going to be allowed to university or become a professor or become a minister or whatever. And this went on also for other non-Aryans as well. So it's basically the conduct and the establishment of these rules or actions that was carried out and was set just as a natural order of things that should be done. So this thing that, and the Aryans, one thing that should be noted, that they just hated killings. The most, whenever they had to resort to killing, it was to the minimum, just to get rid of the evil, and after basically getting rid of the evil, they immediately stopped it. This is now, of course, let's look at it as any great general, any great military person, his aim in war is not just to go and kill. This is a sick, just bloodthirsty person, somebody who just enjoys killing. A military man is just goes in and just tries to destroy the will of the enemy, and just the moment that they destroy the will, the fighting is finished. It's not a matter of going and trying to have bloodbaths all over the place. And this is the conduct, so that's been carried on today. So the Jews and all other people, minor suppressed people, they found Aryan lands as a haven. This we have it with Turkey, the Aryan Turkey, the real Turkey, not the Turanian. And again, not this propaganda of it, the Armenian genocide, which happened, and there's no doubt that the Armenian lost lots of people during those in the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. But first of all, the number is really need to be determined. Just whatever the number one side of this story throws out is not to be taken at face value, and at extreme situations that the whole society is collapsing and dogs and man don't know each other. Things happen that really the emotion have to stop, and accounting be done for these kind of charges and counter charges. But again, this is just this episode. Put it aside just for a moment. Let's say this is too hot a potato. We don't have any Turkish, Armenian, the Aryan Turks. There's no. We don't see an episode of slavery as a means of production in society. The Romans, the Christian Romans, the Babylonians of the West that turned into the British royalty turn into the southern gentlemen or southern society and northern society to another extent. These people, they continue their way of life through those nations. So whenever those people, regardless of what they said, what they did was a Babylonian act, not a Sumerian or Aryan act, which and right now in America the Sumerian or the Aryan has their becoming, or their values is becoming established in society, is that we're finally seeing that a hard an end to slavery, not only forced on the mind but also forced on the heart. The last thing that I wanted to say that about the mission of the Aryans and its holy nature was that and it reflects also on the Christians, not only on the Jews but also on the Christians. In the first temple built by His Holiness Solomon, it was ruined, destroyed by the Babylonians, and that very little is being said in this country, in the West. The second temple was built by the Arians and donated to the Jewish people. It was a holy mission. They had absolutely, Judaism was not their religion. They had nothing to do with the Temple of Solomon. It was something that was holy to the Freemasons and to the Jews. But they built the second temple that was built was by the Arians. That was donated to the Jews. And that second temple was destroyed by the sons or the people who came after the Babylonians, the Romans. The second temple that the Aryans built and donated to the Jews was destroyed by the Romans. So the two slave-owning people that we know of for fact in society were the Babylonians and the Romans, and they both destroyed the holiest temples to the Jews and also to the Christians. But the second one that was at the time of the Arians had power, they built it. They built it just out of this holy mission. They had no obligation whatsoever, not religiously, not culturally, nothing. And that was destroyed by the Roman when they occupied Jerusalem.